починаємо.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to give the floor to Colonel Lysenko, the spokesperson for ATO, with the last information about the general environment in the eastern Ukraine and on the activities of the law enforcers. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The environment in ATO is still tense. The largest number of armed provocation by militants are spotted at Donetsk. In Donetsk region, the most intensive fire and shelling has been detected nearby Opitne and Avdiivka, where the enemy used the machine guns, ground launchers, and 120mm mortars. There have been 2 mortar shellings on Pisky. In Krymsky Novoydar district, Lugansk region, the illegal gang members shelled by mortars the National Guard block post and the army strongholds and attempted to advance. Our troops have bravely retaliated the attacks and responded on provocation. The militants spread rumors and eventual advance of Ukrainian army to justify the shelling on ATO forces location. I'd like to stress that all the Ukrainian forces located in ATO area adhere to ceasefire, which is also confirmed by international monitors from Special Monitoring Mission active in ATO area. Illegal armed groups carry out aerial reconnaissance. The border guards spotted 21 drones, and totally our troops spotted 30 drones and destroyed 1 in Lugansk region. During the last 24 hours in the combat area, we had no losses in Ukrainian troops. Lawlessness is there in occupied territories. The gang leaders of so-called LPR steal Ukrainian resources. According to OSCE press service, there is unauthorized export of coal from Lugansk region to Russian Federation. In Anthracite town, the militants confiscate weapons from so-called Cossack gangs not belonging to so-called people militia. The situation is still very deplorable during to shelling, explosive ordnances, and ruined utilities. The administration, local administrations are trying to demine the towns and to repair electricity and water supply. During the last 24 hours, the special forces demined 70 units in Donetsk and Lugansk regions. The militants understand their errors and abandon arms. The Ukrainian law enforcers detains Andriy from Lugansk region, who was in the militants' ranks. He was severely wounded and sent to the central hospital. As he never killed our troopers, it has been decided to leave him free as a goodwill action. Andriy says that he would like to start from scratch and to be back to his family. 2 more militants are surrendered to Ukrainian army at Zolote block post in Lugansk region. Both were found to have criminal record. In particular, a 40 years old person from Sverdlovsk, Lugansk, served 11 years for manslaughter. He was specially prepared in Yeisk in Krasnodar region, where Russian officers trained the militants to use military hardware, and in particular Strela 10M air defense missile launcher. The militants are not content with non-payment and bad treatment. You can see it for yourself in the video. I'm from Lugansk region. In 2003, I performed murder and served 11 years. How did you join the DPR army? Well, actually, I could not find a job, and I met a recruiter. When did you meet him? Well, it was in July 2014, and the recruiter suggested joining the DPR armed forces. How did you? How have you been transported to Yeisk? Well, actually, I crossed the border by car, and in Russian Federation, we were checked by federal security forces. According to these two persons, many people in the ranks of illegal armed gangs are willing to leave them, and according to our criminal law, a person who voluntarily informed the law enforcers about terrorist activity and cooperated can be released from criminal responsibility. In Dnipropetrovsk, security service of Ukraine, people neutralized a turncoat who was recruited by the Russian Special Force to arrange an artificial channel for smuggling drugs from Ukraine to be detained by the Russian forces on the border, to spread this information in Russian media in order to compromise Ukrainian state. The person has obtained $1,700 for this action. He also gathered the information and transferred the information to his Russian sponsors about the units located in Dnipropetrovsk. The criminal case is initiated on high treason. In Solidovo, the Ukrainian law enforcers detained DPR gang person who was armed and served on the militants' block post. The Ukrainian law enforcers carried out instructions yesterday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They carried out instructions for supplementary law enforcers to draw attention of the local people to law enforcers' activity. The first information bulletin on Donetsk region law enforcers has been published, covering militia and National Guard of Ukraine activity in the region. Donbas region civilians can get comprehensive and unbiased information about local law enforcers. Vinnytsia and Sokol special forces met the military school teenagers in Tulchin, Vinnytsia region. They explained the rules for operating on explosive items, and according to the law enforcers, these teenagers are the future of Ukraine. The draft to Ukrainian army is going on, and first rookies are coming to the training center. After a monthly training and oath, they will continue their military service in the center units especially in support and training battalions. These people will not serve in ATO, but they will support it in the rear. The Ukrainian government decorates the heroes. President Poroshenko issued an order on decoration where 79 military servants and law enforcers are decorated by bravery and Bogdan Khmelnytsky orders. Our soldiers have been also decorated in the location on 24th Mechanized Brigade of the Army, where 14 servicemen have been decorated on a general call, and some of them participated in active service in ATO area. The Ukrainian service members get trained on the airborne forces training area. The drafted soldiers are being trained under supervision of the Chief of General Staff, General Lysenko, and Airborne Forces of Ukraine Commander Colonel Zabrodsky. The OSC personnel have been also present. In Mariupol region, our state troopers have been training to use anti-tank gun, and they showed good results. National Guard Training Center has seen the graduation of armed vehicle troopers. Now they can operate the vehicles both day and night and use all the weapons on board, both in location and on the move. They have been trained by experienced instructors, officers who had served in ATO area. Now I'd like to show you the Ukrainian heroes who was in the front line since the beginning of the war. Konstantin Klepach serves in 95th Airborne Brigade. He is just 20 years old, but he's chief of the unit, and he's in the eastern Ukraine from the moment of Crimea annexion. And his unit served in Slavyansk, Lysychansk, Saur-Mogila, Shakhtarsk, Debaltsevo. Konstantin recalls a heavy combat in Donetsk region, but they have always been up to their tasks. His unit defends the strategically important railway bridge near Avdiivka, and he has been wounded and now undergoes treatment in military hospital in Kiev, being visited by his mother and his fiancée. Let's wish Konstantin successful treatment. And now thank you, and if there are any questions, I'm ready to answer. No questions. Thank you, Colonel Lysenko, and the next ATO briefing is planned for tomorrow, 12:30, and we'll be hosting here Colonel Matuzianik. Thank you.